Okay, so there's been a little bit of a situation going on with Mihoyo and the use of AI art. Now, this is a video from Darkos88. We've actually looked at this channel plenty of times, a couple of times on this channel. But again, they do make a lot of really cool content talking about it. And I just want to show you guys this video just before I get into some of my thoughts and feelings about this and why this could be a problem for Genshin Impact and Hoyoverse in the future.
Mihoyo, this is disappointing. So they posted a job listing using an AI-generated image instead of official artwork, which quickly got backlash. Since Hoyo is known for its high-quality artwork made by real artists, using AI in an official post made people question the company's stance on AI art. I think to maintain their art quality and keep people's trust, they should use official artwork made by their skilled artists, especially since they have enough talent and budget to do so. Mihoyo, this is disappointing.
Yeah, so this is pretty much the entirety and, everything that is going on with it. But honestly, I thought this is a very interesting topic to talk about because, again, is it a big problem that Mihoyo is using AI? Now, if you've been on my channel, if you've been around my account, then you know there was a lot of AI slop on my Twitter and other places like that. And again, I don't really have the biggest problem with AI, but also I do have a big problem whenever it comes to companies using it, especially Mihoyo, who have such a large budget and can actually afford these artists. And, I think the AI, is fine for like stuff like fan art, things like that, because again, people can choose not to look at it. People can choose to look at it if they want. But whenever it comes to a company using it for a game, it's kind of unavoidable unless you just don't play the game. And honestly, I feel like, especially the Genshin Impact community audience, I feel like, they're not going to be very receptive to it. And a lot of them are going to choose to leave the game because of this. And, obviously, this isn't a very good sign. This was the actual image that was shown. This was an image, I'm guessing it was supposed to be Farina. But again, it doesn't look anything like Farina, which again, makes me think, how actually similar and how well have they actually perfected this for them to, kind of use it in game? Because there is one kind of case of people like not being happy about it, but it's also the case of like, will it even look good in the first place? Most AI generated games aren't very good in terms of like AI generated artwork. Usually AI generated games in terms of speech and text are pretty decent, and there's been some kind of improvements with that. But in terms of the artwork and stuff, there's never really been a game that's actually managed to crack down on it yet, because we are still a couple of years away from actually reaching that point where it can be kind of consistent. But in terms of the fact of them not using their artists and instead trying to use AI to promote stuff and to promote some job listings, I think it's very obvious the direction that Mihoyo is trying to go in, and they're trying to minimize the amount of employees that they have working for them in order to use AI art instead, which definitely does suck for a lot of the artists out there. And obviously, I don't think in this video they say, they're kind of confused on Mihoyo's stance on AI art and, Mihoyo's stance on AI in general. I think we all know previous times, we know that Kai Haoyu has a company to do with AI, and, they have in the past actually promoted job listings for kind of AI specialized things, including voice actors. That's why a lot of the voice actors are on strike at the moment, due to a lot of the stuff that is going on with them trying to use AI to replace them and everything like that, which again can be a big problem. And it's almost getting to the case where the entirety of Genshin Impact, or maybe the entirety of a future game coming out from Mihoyo, might be made up of this for them to kind of maximize profits and get rid of like the employees, which obviously costs them money. Now again, this isn't great because, as this post says here, they're known for their high quality artwork, and they're known for having great designs and great, human made designs, which again just adds a little bit more of an element to it, which I feel like, is really great for the game. And if that ends, I feel like Mihoyo could go down a pretty slippery path, and maybe, we could see the downfall of Mihoyo, especially with them producing a lot of AI slop in terms of games. Now, obviously, again, as I said, it's not the biggest of issues for me in terms of like fan art and things like that, but for a game it can be very detrimental. And I feel like for a actual full company made product, they should be utilizing these artists. They should be doing this stuff. Now this is the actual post itself. I feel like this is over on a Chinese kind of social media thing, and that is the image that they use. Now obviously they quickly took this down, and there's a lot of backlash already from this from a lot of the users, which again is great to see, because obviously I don't think anybody wants to see this added to any of the games. Now it would be cool maybe if they could integrate AI in terms of like chat messages or something like that. I think Ananta is actually planning on doing that in the future, I think it's Ananto. It's either Ananto or NTE, one of the ones that was kind of city based, and I thought that was quite cool. As long as you're not like doing art, as long as you're not doing also like voice acting, I feel like that's actually pretty okay. And I feel like, you know, that actually could actually help the game out and make it a little bit more immersive for that player. But whenever it comes to just using straight up art for it, there's a lot of issues with it. As someone who works with it over on like Twitter and stuff like that, you know, it's definitely one of those slippery things. It doesn't just like, you know, do it in an instant and it's done. It's like you do have to spend a little bit of time on it. As much as people say it's much easier, it is definitely much easier. Don't get me wrong. It takes like way less time than maybe it would for an artist to actually, you know, fully draw out something. But you know, it does still take a little bit of time to get it right, and even then, it might not even be perfect, which could actually affect the quality of Genshin Impact in the future, which obviously would not help a lot of people at all. Or, again, I'm not even saying this is for specifically Genshin Impact. Obviously, this post that was put out was mainly directed towards Genshin Impact. Obviously, they had like a kind of, I guess, loose picture of Farina there. But again, I feel like maybe it's a little bit too late for them to be using it in Genshin Impact, and they might be planning on using it in one of their future games. For example, we did look at a game the other day talking about a whole Pokemon type thing, which could use the use of AI. Now, obviously, another big issue for Mihoyo would be the copyright, because obviously, if you don't know, AI uses a lot of, you know, kind of... it takes a lot of stuff from other people. It takes a lot of stuff from the internet and everything like that, which again could face some like legal trouble, I guess, in terms of Mihoyo. And also a lot of AI generated stuff is never owned. You cannot own it. You can't really copyright it. It's usually, depending on where you are and what the laws are there, usually it either the AI company who made it own it, or it's the actual, I think no one owns it in the first place. Again, it depends where you are, but again, it's like hard to actually copyright it as well, which could be an issue for them if they were to use it. So I feel like this is very, very far off of them actually using it. And I don't think maybe this is the end of the world in terms of, you know, they're going to start using it in all of their games. I feel like they were just using it to promote something, and that this wasn't actually like supposed to be a gameplay, you know, type aspect that is coming anytime soon. The most likely thing that I could see them using AI on is voice acting, which would really suck because there are a ton of really cool voice actors in the Mihoyo space, especially in Genshin Impact, Honkai Star, and Xenosaga Zero, which have done a very, very good job, and it would be very sad to see a lot of AI stuff coming to the game. But again, that's probably the most closest one I could see being a reality, whereas using art and stuff, the only thing I could see it for is maybe being used for like promotional materials. But even then, I feel like there's going to be a lot of backlash, and I don't think the community would allow this to happen even in the first place anyways, because, again, the Mihoyo kind of fan base are very strong whenever it comes to a lot of their opinions, and even if, like, you know, it's... as much as people think that Hoyo shills and stuff, you know, are really dedicated to Hoyo, whenever a issue like this, an issue like AI occurs, a lot of them do get very heated over it, and obviously they will kind of fight for the betterment of their game, which honestly I think is pretty good. You know, once they actually have a valid reason to do so, then they actually, you know, go ahead and do it. But overall, I feel like this is a pretty bad situation for Mihoyo at the moment. I don't know if they're blowing it out a little bit out of proportion at the moment, because I feel like a lot of people are going like, it's the end of the world. Oh my god, Mihoyo is going to start using AAR. I don't really know, because we've already known that they've been like kind of experimenting with it for a little bit of a while. And especially if you look at that picture, you know, that picture that they put on the actual application itself, it's like they're still quite far behind if that's the picture that they've gotten, and I don't think it's going to come to Genshin Impact. But hey, we'll have to wait and see and look at some of the other games and look closely at whether they're using AI stuff. And also, I think it's important to mention that some other games have also used similar stuff. I'm not sure if it was Wuthering Waves or Arknight's Enfield. It was one of them. In the game files, it had AI-generated images of the characters in terms of, like, I think it was for, like, inspiration or something like that to help them create their characters, which, again, maybe might be another thing that they're experimenting with in terms of coming up with ideas for characters for them to give it to an actual artist to go ahead and kind of finalize all the details and make it good, which again, I feel like that's a bit of a kind of gray area for a lot of people in terms of how, you know, it's done and, you know, whether it's okay and stuff like that, because I feel like maybe that's not the end of the world. It can help people come up with ideas, but, you know, some people also are against that as well. So yeah, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this. Do you think that this is going to be a big issue for Mihoyo in the future and for Genshin Impact and for some of the future games that Mihoyo might be releasing? Because again, it does seem like this has become a pretty big deal, and also, you know, this has got 36,000 likes, 1,000 comments, so a lot of people are very engaged in this. And yeah, go follow Darkos88 because again, they make a ton of really cool content like this as well over on these shorts. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.